Today, I want to talk about the 5 key steps to starting a licensed DD provider agency. So, if you're someone who's been wanting to start an agency working with individuals with developmental disabilities for some time, this video is definitely for you. If you're new here, my name is Terria. I help aspiring providers start and scale their provider agency supporting individuals with developmental disabilities. So, let's get right to it. Number one, decide what service you want to provide. So within the DD provider agencies, there's 2 different services, 2 different major types of services that you can provide. One being residential services, and 2 being day training programs. So if you're not for sure what those 2 services are, I did a video some time ago explaining what those 2 different services are. But you need to know the type of services you are providing because it depends on step number 2. Step number 2 is you need to get the application. I also did a video talking about where you can find the application, but you can go to the Department of Disabilities in your state, and they're able to get you an application to apply for the certification. You just let them know you want to start a new agency working with individuals with developmental disability, and you want to provide services in whatever area you want, and they'll give you the application that applies to that particular service. Number 3, when you get the application, there's a couple of supporting documents that you'll need, which is the hardest part of the certification process, getting these mini documents together. So I'm going to talk about first the personnel practices. Within the personnel practices, some of the key things that you'll need to make sure you have developed and established is policy and procedures. Your 5 key personnel. So if you're an agency, you're considered an organization and not an individual working alone. So you'll need to have 5 key personnels within your organization that will need to be listed on the application. Executive director is one role that you'll need to have already established. Program manager, director. CFO is another position that you'll need to have established. A QIDP, which is a qualified intellectual disability professional or qualified developmental disability professional. You'll have to have somebody that meets within that criteria. If you have some more questions about what the criteria is for that, please comment below, and I can go, do a video going further into what that is. So we have the executive director, we have the program manager, the QIDP, the CFO, and program managers. So those are the roles that you definitely need to have established when completing the application process. Another thing you'll need to have established is an organizational chart, so that your employees know, what is the order of who answers to who pretty much in your organization. You'll have to have recruitment and hiring practices, orientation and annual training practices, and employee evaluation practices. So those are some of the key things that you'll need to have developed within the personnel practices. Number 2, developing a financial plan. Within your financial planning, you'll need to have your billing practices. When you're licensed or when you become licensed, you'll have to bill through Medicaid. So you'll have to make sure you have a system in place so you can accurately and officially bill through Medicaid. You'll need to have an estimate operating cost and revenue for the next 12 months of, when your business will be opening. And then you'll need evidence of sufficient working capital for 90 days. It'll take some time when you first get open to get your first individual in there. So you need to make sure your operation runs efficiently and effectively in the meantime, and the the working capital is already set there for 90 days. It won't necessarily take 90 days for you to get your first client or individual, but they like to see that you have a working capital of, at least 90 days. Okay. And number 5, you'll have to have proof of licensing and insurance. So there's a couple of different license insurance that you'll need, one being a business license. And if you're a nonprofit, you'll need your article of incorporation as well. Another thing you'll need is your general liability insurance, vehicle insurance if you plan on providing transportation, so vehicle insurance and registration. And then lastly, you'll need a workman's comp insurance, of course, to cover your employees. So these are some of the 5 key steps that you'll need to get licensed within the process. Of course, there's a lot of different steps that also need to be included, but these are, I would say, the most time consuming, the important steps that you'll need to take when you're going through the licensing and application process. So another thing I wanted to point out, and I'll just say that this is a bonus, once you submit your application, you complete your application, you have provided all of these supporting documentation, the state will either accept you or reject you. So one key point I want to make, if you are rejected, if you're accepted, great. We can move on to, getting you clients inside of your program. If you are rejected, one thing I want to point out is it's a 12-month wait. And typically you're rejected because you did not meet your state standards. Your supporting documents did not meet your state standards. There was some things that, weren't completed that were required in the application process that you just did not complete. So just be mindful. If you are rejected, you have to wait another 12 months before you can reapply. Okay. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope this gives you a better outlook on the application process and the steps you have to take in the order that you take those steps in. So the order that I put these steps in, these 5 steps, are the order that you should be, making sure you complete your application process. So I want to reiterate or recap what I just went over so there's a clear understanding of the steps you have to take. So number 1, you need to decide on what services you're providing. Number 2, you need to go and get the application. Number 3, you need to develop these personnel practices. Number 4, you need to develop these financial plans or practices. And number 5, you need to provide the proof and licenses and insurances for your agency. So if this video was helpful, please comment below. Let me know. If there's anything you want me to elaborate on, comment below and let me know. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow me for more videos like this. All right, guys, talk to you later.